So, you think you could survive the early Middle Ages? Spoiler, you'd be dead by Wednesday. Let's start with your immune system. Modern, pampered, fragile. In the early Middle Ages, anything could kill you. A scratch? Infection? A cough? Tuberculosis. Drinking water. Cholera cocktail. There were no antibiotics, no vaccines, and if you went to a doctor, he'd probably just bleed you or rub dirt on it. If you made it past age 5, congratulations. You're a statistical outlier, and now it's time to farm until your spine snaps. Daily life was trash. You wake up in a wooden shack with your whole family, a couple goats, and a roof that leaks sadness. You work sunrise to sunset, growing food you don't get to eat, sleep on straw infested with bugs, and poop in a bucket. That doubles as your dinner plate if someone gets confused. Hygiene? Hilarious. People bathed maybe twice a year, and soap was just lard mixed with ashes. Your breath smells like death because dental care didn't exist, and your toothbrush was probably a twig you found on the road. You might think, well, I'll just be a knight. Okay, sure. Just be born into nobility, train for 15 years, then carry 60 pounds of armor while charging at other guys who also want to die for a flag. Chivalry wasn't about rescuing princesses. It was about legally stabbing strangers in fields over land nobody could read a map of. And if you got injured, you'd either die from infection or get treated by having holes drilled in your head to let the demons out. Let's talk food. Your diet is barley, more barley, and if you're lucky, some rat. Bread often came with a free serving of ergot, a toxic fungus that caused hallucinations and sometimes death. So yeah, your breakfast might give you seizures. Meat was rare unless you were rich, which you weren't, and spices were so expensive they were basically edible currency. You can't read. No one can. Literacy rates were so low they practically had a negative sign in front. Education was only for monks, and even they spent 90% of their lives copying the same 3 religious texts by candlelight until their eyes turned into raisins. If you wanted knowledge, tough luck. You live in a world where people thought sneezing too hard might summon demons. Justice. An absolute fever dream. Trials weren't based on evidence. They were based on walk on fire or let's see if you float in a river. If you lived, it was divine proof of innocence. If you died, well, maybe next time. Get accused of witchcraft for owning a cat. You're toast. Steal bread? Lose a hand. Say the wrong thing during a solar eclipse? Blame the heretic. And while you're trying to survive this hellscape, don't forget about Vikings, or Huns, or just local warlords with nothing better to do. One minute you're harvesting turnips, the next, your house is on fire, and someone's using your cousin's skull as a goblet. Town defenses were a wooden fence, and one guy named Bernard with a pointy stick. So no, you wouldn't survive the early Middle Ages. You wouldn't even make it past day 3. Life back then was a constant battle against dirt, disease, starvation, and guys named Ulfric. If you weren't dead from plague, you were dead from weather, war, or bad bread. So next time your phone battery dies at 20%, just be glad you're not drinking soup made of moss and regret. So yeah, if you're ever feeling nostalgic for the good old days, just remember, those days involved open wounds, unwashed peasants, and dinner that might kill you. You wouldn't be a brave knight or a wise monk. You'd be Skeleton 47 in a plague pit. So maybe hug your antibiotics, kiss your plumbing, and say thank you to literally every scientist since the 11th century. Because if history teaches us anything, it's this. Survival used to be a miracle, and now it's just remembering to charge your phone. The next time you complain about Mondays, just be glad no one's blaming you for crop failure and burning you at the stake. Medieval life didn't come with warning labels. It was the warning label.